All right. Well, we don't need to.
Actually, let's start with Avi.
We don't need Avi's
Picked
opinion.
Avi
We already
sweep.
know that
Avi
the.
sweep.
All right. So in a past episode, I made the bold statement that the Heat were sweeping the Bucks.
Okay, that's it. Bye. Welcome to 5280 Real Talk. This week's episode, or today's episode, is going to be a little different because two very special individuals tested positive for COVID, but that's besides the point. For this week's episode, we're going to be doing an NBA playoff special, so let's get right into it.
For this episode's trivia question, we have who has scored the most points in a playoff game? Options are Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Elgin Baylor, or Allen Iverson. Stay tuned to the end of the episode to see if you get it right.
All right. So in today's NBA playoff special, we're going to start with all the play-in games, starting off with an interdivision matchup, Hornets-Pacers. Gavin, who is going to take this home?
I got the Pacers taking this one. I think the Hornets are definitely like a fan favorite type of team, with the fun announcers and, LaMelo Ball and Terry and they're fun to watch, obviously, but they're good. But I don't think they're there yet. They're a young team who's going to fight hard. And in one game, they could definitely pull it off. But I think the Pacers with Sabonis and, he's a phenomenal center. And I think they're going to be able to pull this one out.
I disagree. I don't think that the Hornets will go far in these playoffs whatsoever. But I think, as you said, they're a young team. And I think they're the type of team to pull this one game out against the Pacers. So I'm taking the Hornets.
Yeah, these teams have played 3 times this season. The Hornets took 2 of them. I think the Hornets are just the better team, to be honest. The Pacers arguably look better on paper, but the Hornets are a good team. They move the ball like no other. They're one of the leading teams in assists. They're really talented, and Terry Rozier he is underrated. He's really underrated. I don't see anything in the Pacers. They're just not very good.
I think that it's definitely not the Pacers' year, with injuries and, Oladipo, who was supposed to come back at some point and be who he was 2 years ago or a year ago, has not been the same. Obviously, he's been traded, but I still think that, I still think the Pacers are going to be able to pull it off. Well, the next game we have the Wizards versus Celtics. Elon?
Got the Wizards. The Wizards are really hot right now, and the Celtics don't have Jaylen Brown. The Wizards really look good, and I don't think they're going to do much in the playoffs because they're going to have a tough first-round matchup. But I think they're going to get that 7 seed, and I don't know. The Celtics have just not been great. Wizards are extremely hot right now. Russell Westbrook is playing ridiculous basketball. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking the Wizards here too. Like you said, Russell Westbrook playing out of his mind, Bradley Beal having a great season, and Gavin Bertans, who I don't know if he's better than Porzingis, but he's playing pretty well right now. So I got the Wizards winning this.
Yeah, I think that when the most talked about player on the Celtics is a guy named Neesmith, they're not in great shape, without Jay. They're a complete mess. They're a mess.
Them on their team, you do know that.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying most talked about player right now.
It's still Jason.
They're just looking. They're looking for someone to help them, and they don't have that. Jason Tatum's not going to be able to do it on his own. They're a mess. The Wizards are playing phenomenal. They've won like 15 out of their last 17.
I will say, Jason Tatum.
They're playing great.
Might be able to prove that he's better than we think he is, and if he can lead this team anywhere without Jaylen Brown, he'll be looked upon as a very amazing basketball player. So
he already is.
Well, yeah, but he'll be looked at. I think people look at him as an all-star. I don't think anyone looks at him as superstar. Not like on LeBron tier, Curry tier,
like the next KD type of player.
Yeah. I also think, though, Russell Westbrook is out to prove that he is one of the best point guards of all time, because I think prior to this season, at least,
he was never talked about like that.
Never talked about like that. So I think right now he's never won. He's trying to win, and this is the first step to that.
Yeah, I definitely.
I think the biggest issue is whoever wins this is about to get destroyed by the Nets. So
I think the Celtics have a chance against the Nets.
what?
Wow. Okay, I disagree.
I don't
Okay,
Wait,
think
why?
put up a fight.
I think the Knicks take that in 5, probably 4.
I'd say they. I think they would take it to 7, but
Okay. Um, Grizzlies Spurs. Gavin, who do you have?
I have the Grizzlies. I think that Popovich is too locked in on staying to his system of basketball. But his system of basketball is a great system of basketball. But when you don't have very good players, it can only go so far. It can go to a decent record, a play late seed in the playoffs, but they have they're just so boring. They're just not very good. I don't know how to explain it in any other way. They're just not a fun team to watch this year because they don't have anyone good. So it's like DeRozan, who's not even that good. So, and I don't know. The Grizzlies are just they're young. They want it. John Morant is a winner. You saw it in Murray State.
he's a winner.
So, they're coming off a tough loss
Ja's a winner.
to
I would
yeah, he's a winner. He's a winner.
not describe Ja as a winner, but
Why would you not describe him as a winner?
he hasn't won.
Like he's a competitor. Is that better?
Sure.
I
He's
would
like a
call
very
him,
tough
I would call him gamer.
gamer. Yeah, he's good. They're a young team who wants to win, especially coming off a tough loss to Golden State. So
I'm taking the Spurs in this one because of the Grizzlies' age. The Grizzlies, when you watch them, they just look. How do I describe? They just kind of look incompetent at times. Like
not true. They have Desmond
On. What about Desmond? I was just gonna.
Bain.
they just look like they can't score at times, or they can't put a stop together at times. And I think that the age is just gonna like. I think they're too young to win this game, and Popovich is gonna come up with a game plan that is gonna lead the Spurs to victory.
I disagree. I think that Popovich, Gavin, you touched on this, that he has a system that, in my opinion, does not fit this team
No, not at all.
in this age of basketball.
He
And
needs Bertans.
yeah, I think this Grizzlies team, yes, they are very young and not experienced, but I think they are going to win this one game.
Yeah, his system really only works with. Obviously, it's worked most of his career, but that's because he's had really high IQ basketball players who have wanted to play with that system. And this year, they just aren't like that. It's a bunch of young players. It's like a mix of young players and really old players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then and they just they don't. It looks like they're not friendly out there.
it just when I watch the Grizzlies play, they don't look like a good team. I honestly don't understand how they're like 9th seed, but
I feel the same about the Spurs.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are just not very good.
and I was watching the game against the
That's
Warriors.
why they're in the play-in games.
I watched the game against the Warriors the other day, the Grizzlies versus Warriors. The Grizzlies were down by like 17, and they came back on Dylan Brooks carried them back into the game, and then he got fouled out, and they were down by 12 again in 2 seconds.
That's
I
just
think-
an incredible plus minus for Dylan Brooks.
Yeah. So
I think that when you look
Dylan
at
Brooks is someone that has impressed me. He was on Curry, and I mean Curry had like 40 points, but
48, 46.
he forced a ton of misses, and Curry.
That's pretty good defense, though. Only 46 for Curry.
I mean, he scored at least 15 of those points when Brooks was out of the game in the last like 15 minutes or in the last like 7 minutes.
He had 15 points in the third quarter, Elon, or more.
Yeah, he also took 40 shots.
He's shooting 50%. I don't know why you think he's a ball hog. If he didn't shoot that much, they would lose every single game.
But I'm just saying, forcing 20 misses from Steph Curry is not that bad.
Yeah. I think when you look at the Grizzlies and the Spurs, though, I don't really like either of these teams, but I think the team with more promise, and in the future definitely, but even in this game, is the Grizzlies. All right.
Future.
Last of the playing game, Warriors Lakers. Gavin.
Dude, hype that up a little more, Avi. We got the Warriors and the Lakers in
Okay. In
LeBron.
my opinion,
Curry and
best
LeBron
play
in a play. They should be a finals matchup, not a play-in game.
this should not be a finals matchup.
Well, I mean, it has been in years past, Curry versus LeBron. So, but obviously not the Warriors. But
Okay.
it's kind of just crazy that the second highest odds to win the championship are in the play-in game.
Yeah.
But that's why I have to go with the Lakers. As much as I love Curry, and as much as I think that with it being one game, literally anything can happen. And Curry could either have his night where he goes for 60 or where he goes for 15 and shoots terribly one night, because that happens sometimes. But I think, with LeBron's record, I don't think he's ever lost in the first round of the playoffs, right? I don't see him losing this. It's LeBron, so.
I think regardless, even both of these teams will end up in the playoffs. They'll just be the 7 and 8 seed. But I'm gonna take the Lakers here because they're just the better team than the Warriors. There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, especially with LeBron and Anthony Davis back.
Yeah.
And
The only thing that could hinder things is if LeBron tweaks his ankle or whatever. And
LeBron did leave the game against the Pacers with an ankle injury, but I think it was kind of not that bad. And
I think he just wanted a rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking the Lakers.
Sorry, not the Pacers.
I'm taking the Lakers here. I think, like you said, they're a better team. And I think a key for them, even if I think Curry is going to get his points, but I think what happened at the Grizzlies game with him shooting as many shots as he did cannot happen in this game if the Warriors are to win. I think he needs to shoot efficiently, and I just don't think that's going to happen enough.
I just think, the Lakers are one of the best.
I think Curry could go for like 40 and they'll still lose, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I think they're.
They barely beat the Grizzlies.
They need
Curry had 48 points, so
they need a full team performance to win this game, and I don't think that's going to happen because they don't have a very good team.
Hey, Juan Toscano Anderson.
Yeah, that guy's a beast.
Gives me like no other basketball player, I will say.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the first round series, but just the set first round series, so not like what it possibly could be with the play-in games, just like
we're not going to do 1-8 or 2-7s.
Yeah, exactly. We're just gonna do the middles. All right, Elon, Heat versus Bucks.
All right. Well, we don't need
actually. Let's start with Avi.
We don't need Avi's opinion.
Avi sweep.
already know that
Avi sweep.
All right. So in a past episode, I made the bold statement that the Heat were sweeping the Bucks.
Okay, that's it. Bye.
Actually,
I have since come to like and definitely recognize and notice that Drew Holiday as a lockdown defender. So
no, Avi, you can't just do that. It's been like a week. What has changed your mind in a week?
Now he thinks the Bucks are gonna sweep the Heat.
I don't
You're
think
all over the place.
The Heat. I think they'll beat them in 6 games.
What?
I think they will beat them in 6 games.
Okay.
Why are you?
Avi had a complete 180 of a decision. So I'll go next.
Apparently, 1 week of basketball, probably 1 or 2 games those teams played, has completely changed his opinion.
From the Heat winning.
You probably didn't even watch a single Bucks or Heat game. No, it's not. It's not
the Bucks lost to the Bulls yesterday, so I don't think that could have changed your opinion very much.
They lost to the Bulls. Vucevic.
Levine is having an insane season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, regardless of Avi's trash opinions, Elon, Heat Bucks.
I got the Bucks in 7 in this one. I think it's going to be the best first round. Yeah, I said the Heat could win. I just don't think it's possible for them to sweep them. But I think the Bucks will win in 7 because I think this is going to be the best first round matchup. Maybe another one that we'll get to. Actually, we won't get to later. I'll just say it. I think it will be the Lakers versus the Suns will be the best first round matchup, but this will be second.
I think the Nuggets Blazers it's gonna be good.
So I think that the Bucks are out to prove something. They're out to get the revenge from the Heat, but the Heat are a tough team. So I think they're going to take them to 7, but the Bucks will win.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to 7 as well because both of these these teams matched up in the playoffs last year, and we all know how that turned out. The Heat won, and the Heat are definitely a dark horse again this year. Even though they went to the finals last year, they're still the dark horse of the East, and I think that the Mavs are the dark horse of the West. But you know, I think it's really helpful. I've said this before, but I think it's really helpful for the Bucks to not be very talked about. Not being the team that's the finals favorite because they don't have much pressure. Obviously, they have pressure, but they don't have pressure they've had in past years. And I think that, you know, I think Giannis he's playing at an MVP level right now. He's putting up like 28, 14, and 5. Like,
And he does
he's
not.
playing incredible, and I just don't know who's going to guard him.
He doesn't
So,
be viewed as a player that can't win in the playoffs either. Like,
yeah, exactly.
he's
It's
really,
kind of like it's almost his last chance. And if he doesn't do something this year, he's going to get out of Milwaukee, I feel like.
yeah.
So I think he wants to stay there, to be honest, like deep down. But if he can't win, he might have to leave. But
Yeah.
so I think the Bucks are going to take this one.
Well, I don't know if I think he just signed a contract either last year or the year before, and I think
I don't think contracts really matter anymore because players can just say that they want to trade and sit out.
yeah. All right,
So dumb.
next series, Knicks Hawks. Gavin,
I think the Hawks are actually awful. I think they're like I don't know how they have a good record because
the Knicks have a
I
good
think
record.
what?
I don't know how the Knicks have a good record either.
this is
I
Julius
know
Randle.
both these teams don't make sense,
This is
but
a-
I definitely take the Knicks, to be honest. I think this is the perfect first round matchup for the Knicks.
I think this
Like
is
honestly, and this is going to be a close series because both these teams are just so bad for being this high up.
I think
So I don't know. It's so crazy, but I think that the Knicks are going to win. The Knicks haven't been in the playoffs in like 15 years, so have won like one playoff series. So I think that the Knicks are gonna, they kind of need to win. Otherwise, they're just gonna be viewed as the same old Knicks.
this is the most low-level first-round matchup I have ever seen. I have no idea how these two teams are matching up and
How are they not in a play-in game?
yeah, this
Yes,
is not
seriously.
in a playing game. It is like gonna be such a weird series to watch. You're gonna see two young teams that you would expect to be the 9 and 10 seed play an entire series, and one of them is gonna get smacked by the 76ers in the next round. So I'm gonna take the Hawks because I just think they're the better team.
They're both bad, Elon.
I watched the Knicks.
You can't even take your pick off of skill. You just have to take it based off of like who wants it more.
I watched the Knicks play the other day, and they just looked more incompetent than the Hawks. I mean, the Knicks.
They're just they're a defensive team, Elon. They just they just lock teams down and get their
defense
offense to
wins
their defense.
championships.
That's not what I was seeing when Jokic dropped 26 points in the first quarter against them.
Okay, well that's an MVP candidate.
Yeah, but
Right.
I just think that the Hawks.
Yeah, but do the Hawks have a big guy who's like capable of doing that?
Capella? Oh, of
26?
dropping 26. I mean, they have Young who can.
Capella?
Capella is apparently an MVP. candidate.
Capella's like Elon. Capella's like
I
a
thought you
14
meant-
and 10 type of player.
I thought you meant good defensive big men. No, they have.
No.
Okay.
That's why the Knicks are gonna get absolutely clobbered by the Sixers in the next round if they make it.
But the Hawks have Trae Young who can drop 26.
Okay. And
Yeah.
have you seen Julius Randle's stats this year? He's putting up incredible numbers.
And then the
Near
rest.
triple double. Near triple double.
I mean, at least the Hawks have like Capella and Collins surrounding Trae Young. The Knicks have like Reggie Bullock.
He's actually so good. He's actually pretty good.
This is a
No,
beast.
it's not.
And RJ Barrett is shooting 40% from 3.
It's terrible.
Derrick Rose is playing well.
Oh, Derrick Rose is actually playing well, but
He's
no,
playing pretty well.
Yeah, I'm taking the Knicks. I think they're a defensive team, and the Hawks are absolutely not.
Elon. Next episode, Avi's going to take the Hawks. You want to bet?
The Hawks will be out. I'm just kidding. But, like, I think the Knicks, they're a good defensive team, and I think they're tired of just being called like horrible, and they're from a town that really hates to lose, and I think they
They're
want.
from like the biggest market in basketball, yet they're horrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think they're taking this series.
New York is getting used to losing with the Giants, the Jets, even
Hey, the Islanders are in the playoffs,
yeah.
and they won Game 1 yesterday.
Really only the Yankees do anything for that town.
Yeah.
So, but I just don't know. The Knicks are trash, and like the Hawks are too, but I think they're a little less trash.
Okay.
I don't know
thank
how
you.
the Heat and the Celtics and even the Hornets and even the Wizards are below these teams.
I don't understand either. All right, let's move on to the West, though. Let's go Nuggets Blazers.
I'll go first, I guess. I have the Nuggets winning in 6, but like pretty handily, I think. I think they'll have a 3-1 lead, and the Blazers will steal one more. The Blazers, I've been saying it, they're just not a very good team.
I completely agree. I think that other than the fact that they have an MVP candidate on their team, and this is not meant to be a joke, I think that they're just so incredibly poorly coached. All of them are they just all I watch them and all they do is run a pick and roll. That's all they do.
Yeah. I
They just run pick and rolls. Like they pass the ball once a possession. So of course they're going to win one game when Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are going off, but they're not going to go off for 7 games in a row.
Yeah.
So like they might win a game by 20 at some point in the series, but then they're going to lose the next 2 by 20 because Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are not going to be going off.
I also think Jokic is going to absolutely eat in these playoffs. Like Nurkic is a solid matchup. Cantor can
And Enes Kanter is literally one of the worst big man defenders in the league.
Cantor ever goes in when Jokic, they should just feed it to Jokic and let him score every single possession because he
Yeah,
totally.
I
Plus
agree.
the Nuggets have been winning games with like half of their roster out and Marcus Howard as their starting point guard. So, when they get Monte Morris and Dozier and Barton back, all they're missing is Murray, which is definitely a big piece, but they've shown that they can win without him. Porter has stepped up and he's putting up better numbers than Murray was as the second option.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking the Nuggets in 5 this series. I think the Blazers will win 1 at home, but just based on their sheer star power in the backcourt. But I
The
think
Nuggets do have the best away winning percentage
that's
in
why
the
I
league,
think
I'm
they're
pretty
going to
sure.
steal 1 in Portland. But I think this Nuggets team is just better, like way better. Even like you said, they're getting their pieces back, but they found ways to win games with like nobodies.
Yeah, I think they're coached really well too. I'm a big fan of Michael Malone.
Oh yeah.
And I think that the Blazers are all about I, not about winning.
Like hero ball.
And they
will say,
they just play hero ball. They don't play defense. Carmelo Anthony is a bum. There's a reason why he's on the Blazers and not on any other. There's a reason why he was only picked up by the Blazers. They were the only team that offered him.
The Blazers have won 10 out of their last 12, so they're hot right now. That said, it's not been a super tough schedule. They won against the Jazz, and
with no Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Jazz no Donovan Mitchell, Lakers no LeBron, and Nets probably without one of the big 3. And the rest of those games were pretty easy. But still, winning 10 of 12 is never easy. And that was coming after a 5-game losing streak. So, they definitely.
That's what we're saying, though. They're super inconsistent.
Also, did you know that Carmelo Anthony has never won a game in Denver since he left the Nuggets?
Yeah, this is why the Nuggets are going to win this series.
That's crazy.
All right. Last series, Clippers Mavs. Elon, who do you have?
I have the Clippers in this one in 5, maybe 6. I'll give the Mavericks 6, but yeah, the Mavericks are a solid team, but let's be honest here, the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, it's the Clippers winning this one.
Yeah, Clippers was in the second round, not
Doncic. Last year, these two teams played, and Doncic had that incredible game winner, right? But the Clippers still won pretty handily. Like, no matter how much Doncic does, the Clippers are so much better, like, they have such a good bench too. The Mavs have like nobody.
Yeah,
All
and
they
playoff
if
Rondo
they
playing.
playoff Rondo is just too good.
And
Rondo is better than Steph Curry. Just saying.
I have the Clippers in 6 here. In a previous episode, and let me explain the scenario that I had. I had the Mavs in the conference finals, but
Right.
that was if they played the Nuggets in the first round. I thought they would lose to the Clippers in the conference finals. Now, if they're playing in the Clippers in the first round, I think they're losing to the Clippers in 6.
There
Can we
goes
just call Avi the most mixed side?
Gavin, I literally just said that they would lose.
No,
to
you
the
didn't,
Clippers.
Avi.
Yes, I did.
You just said it in general.
No, I said that if they
Yeah.
because that was when the Nuggets were 4th.
Yeah. Well, they're not 4th anymore.
I know. And that's
That was
why
a big if. That was a big if, Avi.
Okay. Well, that if didn't come true, and now I think.
But what makes you think that they're okay? Whatever.
Can we just talk about something funny though? The Clippers went out there, lost to the Thunder, and then Tyronn Lue went on interview and said that they were doing everything they could to win.
So maybe we have the Mavs sweeping the Clippers, right, Avi?
You realize in the scenario, I had the Mavs
scenario that
to the
I
Clippers
had,
no matter what.
they would lose to the Nuggets anyway too, and then they would lose to the Jazz in the second round. There was literally no teams in the Western Conference that the Mavericks would beat.
I think they could beat the Rockets.
I mean, in the Western Conference playoffs.
I think they could beat the Spurs.
That they're not in the playoffs.
They're in. Okay. Sorry.
The play-in tournament, the playoffs now?
Avi, that's like there's literally like how many teams are not in the play-in tournament? How many teams are out? Like 4 teams are completely out?
5.
5? Yeah, exactly. Being in the play-in tournament is not much of an accomplishment.
It just means you're not horrible.
But you're still bad.
But you're some mediocre team.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. Avi, what's the trivia answer?
Oh, trivia answer. So the question was who scored the most points in a playoff game? The answer was Michael Jordan with 63.
Wow, didn't see that one coming. All right, well, thank you for listening to this week's What, Elon?
Don't worry. Reggie Bullock is coming for that record this year.
He will be.
Aaron Neesmith for that record.
You guys think
All right.
if someone were to set the record in the play-in game, do you think it would count or would it not?
I don't know.
Because I would say the play-in's postseason, but I wouldn't say it's playoffs.
I agree.
Like, it's not part of the regular season, so if someone sets a playoff record in it, does it make a playoff record, or is it like – maybe we'll start the play-in tournament records.
Those will be intense.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to this week's episode, or today's episode of 5280 Real Talk. Don't forget to subscribe and follow our Instagram. Thanks for watching.